It's Ann LeRay here at the filling station recording studio, and we are so excited to have Sarah Ware from North Carolina Cooperative Extension, Jones Onslow.
Thank you.
Welcome to the studio.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you're one of the very first people that we have interviewed, but hey, you're not new to the filling station.
No.
So we have had the opportunity to do a lot of really fun projects since I think it was 2021.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking, when was the first time I met Sarah Ware? And it was the food boxes that came to the Civic Center.
It was the farmers to family food boxes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you needed our help. We went and picked some boxes up, brought them back here, distributed them. And
yes.
so, yeah, that was
I needed everyone's help.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was our first time we met. And then we were renovating this building, and one thing led to the next, and we'll get into that later on as far as our story goes. But I want our audience to learn about you and what you do at Extension, and just introduce yourself and how you came to North Carolina Cooperative Extension.
Okay, great. So let's see. Got the job, did not know what cooperative extension was whatsoever, had no clue, but I did my research and then I interviewed for the position and I got it. I was hired, so that's great. I knew that making a direct impact to the communities was really important with food and nutrition, and that's something that I'm very passionate about, so I'm very thankful for this position. Trying to see. So what do I do per se? I am a family and consumer science agent, which means that I teach food and nutrition, almost like home ec, if you could remember what that is. So home food preservation, canning, dehydrating, stuff like that. Food safety classes.
Venison canning.
Venison canning. You want to can some meat? We've got some classes coming up in April for that. Still spots available. All sorts of fun stuff. Work with kids, pre-K, all the way up to senior citizens.
The Delicious program that you take into the schools, that's really neat.
In pre-K, Take Control program for the seniors. All sorts of exciting stuff.
We had a great lineup in 2024. We did a grant with United Way, which is currently still going. And they were very, very excited about being a part of bringing this to the community. And our goal was 200 people last year, and we were at 137. So I just thought that was amazing for our very first year out. And so, a track goal, that's the only way that you can meet it, is actually know what those numbers are. But yeah, with United Way support and our church partnerships and then your expertise, it makes it fun, bringing everybody to the table. So you're in Jones and Onslow. So that's a delicate balance.
It is. So, I would love to be in one county if I could.
So that's your dream.
One county, yes.
Yeah, so we're not going to say which one.
We will not say which one.
But your dream is to be in one county, make life a little bit easier. You have a family.
Yes.
Kids.
Yes, and I live in the middle of both offices, so 40 minutes to one office in one direction, 40 minutes to the other office in the other direction, and planning for classes months in advance and even a week out, trying to buy fresh produce for one class. It gets a little hectic, but I'm very good at managing that. I've come to manage it very well in 5 years, but one county would be great.
Yeah. Well, one of the other things that you've done that has been wonderful is we partner with Food Bank, and they do a delivery on Tuesday. You'll pick the box up, create some fabulous recipes, and then do an out-of-the-box recipe class on Thursday. And that's been fun. It's handing out samples to the clients that come.
Yeah, because people they won't make a recipe maybe of kale chips on their own, but when they're sitting in their vehicle and I come by and say, want some kale chips? And then they'll try one and they're like, wow, this is actually good. I never would have made it at home, but by trying it, now it's a bit more enticing to do it myself.
You
And
also
so,
did a strawberry. We had purchased some strawberries from Parker Strawberries when they were in season, and you made like a little shake or something
mhm,
with the strawberries, and the clients loved it.
yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Just making all those connections and investing locally. So I think you've pretty much answered this question, but what would you say something that is particularly challenging um, in your work?
Challenging, I think maybe really behavioral change. So I think maybe you were hinting at two counties. That is
Yeah.
challenging. I thought I'd skirt away from that, but
Yeah.
behavioral change is a bit difficult because people are stuck in their ways. Maybe they come to me and say, my doctor says that, I have high blood pressure, and so let's reduce the sodium, but we are so stuck in the ways that we do things that it's a bit difficult to make those changes. So me coming in and saying, hey, maybe instead of adding the salt, we can taste our food first before we add the
Yeah.
table salt. Or we can flip it over and look at the nutrition facts label and see the sodium in there before we make the purchase at the store. And so I think just educating the people and then them actually making the behavioral change, that's the part where we need that connection to come together
Yeah.
and push through and make the change.
Well, and being mindful of we're told to drink 8 glasses of water a day to keep things moving in our bodies, and but when you really get back down to tracking it, it's a whole different story. You think you've done the 8 glasses, but really it's about
Mhm.
4 or 5.
Yeah.
And same thing with nutrition labels. I mean, I took your class,
Mhm.
and looking at those nutrition labels it's critical
Mhm.
because you have this thought that this food is healthy, but in essence, based on what you're working on in your goals, it's not a healthy option for you.
Mhm.
And so that's why having you in our county is so wonderful. So tell me, I know you're always focused on what am I doing next as far as my education. I know you have just graduated from. Well, just tell us about your background. I mean, your educational background and what you're involved in now.
So I was hired with my bachelor's degree in health promotion, and then with my job at Cooperative Extension, I was able to obtain my master's in nutrition from NC State. So I just finished that in July of last year, and then immediately began my PhD in nutrition, and so I'm starting that as well with a focus on breastfeeding, lactation consultant. And so that will help because when we deal with food and nutrition with Cooperative Extension, the first best nutrition, if possible, is breast milk. And so
Mhm.
if we can bring breastfeeding education back into Cooperative Extension, that would be wonderful. And so I'm trying to tie it all together in that way.
Yeah,
Hmm.
absolutely. Well, and I think you've probably answered the question what inspired you to go for your doctorate, but sounds like you've had great support from Extension
Yeah,
to be able to
absolutely.
do that, and NC State University that
Yes,
continues to encourage um, that development.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Yes, they're amazing. It's the
yeah,
best job ever.
yeah.
Hmm.
Love it. So I want you to share what are some of your highlights of your overall experience with you personally partnering with the filling station.
Well, the teaching kitchen, obviously, that's amazing. I don't know if you want to go ahead and tell your side of it, but I know that someone came to me and said, we would like a teaching kitchen here at the filling station. And I connected you with our cooperative extension in Wayne County.
Hmm.
And then you toured their kitchen. Is that
Yep,
correct?
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we got our facilities manager involved. He had moved here from New Jersey. He'd been building teaching kitchens, which is amazing. His family's been in food service for many, many years. And so he had some great ideas. Wayne County had great ideas. Then, of course, you brought your perspective about
Mhm.
what would work really well to help us to create this kitchen. So there's 3 different stations. And in fact, the Our State magazine in September 2023 24 issue actually features the
Woo!
teaching kitchen here
Mhm.
with Sarah and a group, which that was really cool to be highlighted in Our State magazine. But
Mhm.
Yeah, there are several different types of kitchens. There's soup kitchen, there's community kitchen, there's commercial kitchen,
Hmm.
and then we're delivering the teaching kitchen. When we were getting our permitting, the permitting officer asked us, "So this is a home economic kitchen?" Exactly.
Yep.
So yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because
Yeah.
that's exactly what it is,
Hmm.
and so we're not doing any catering here and cooking and serving. You're actually involving everyone into the process
Yes.
of creating their own meals.
Yes. So here's again
Yes.
my issue of behavioral change is that you can sit there and teach people and preach and, teach them as much as you want. But then they get home and do they have the confidence to actually do it themselves? And so I believe that if you're in the kitchen, hands on, you are
Yes.
cutting up the onion and crying while you're making your food, or you are making the soup yourself with your own two hands, you will go home and feel more confident in the kitchen to do it yourself. So I
Absolutely.
think it's important that we have a teaching kitchen with 3 stations
Yes.
where we can have all the same items and everybody can cook together and come together to learn.
Yeah, and you've had different ages in there.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you've had the little kids from camp.
Mhm.
Our dance, art, and summer camp. You come and work with them, and
Yep.
I just love watching them. Just like their faces just light up.
They love it.
Yeah. So what are you most excited about seeing in the coming years for nutrition education here in Jones County?
I think the reach probably. So reaching more people. I know that right now we're sitting here with microphones and a camera. And so if we can record things maybe that
Yes.
some people are not able to drive here, or it's just, the day of the week they're not able to make the class. I'm hoping that we can start recording more and maybe pushing
Yes.
that out to the public so they get the information, but just reaching more people in general. So word of mouth already has spread and, oh, these classes are great. Let's go to some of Sarah's classes. And so
Exactly.
hopefully we can just get more people involved. And my job is to serve the public. So the public tells me what they want. And so you, the public, are able to tell myself or Marianne, whomever, this is what we want. And then this is what I am paid to do, is to teach about canning venison or maybe how to read nutrition facts labels. And so
Food budgeting.
food budgeting, that's right. We've
I mean,
had that class.
that's a huge topic.
I
How
think
do I
that's
save
coming up.
money?
I feel like we have one of those coming up.
Yeah.
Actually.
That's always a great class because who doesn't need more money at the end of the month?
Mm-hmm.
And clearly eating out will really, really cut into your budget, your family budget. So, knowing how to be resourceful, I have watched you in the kitchen just making different changes, and it's amazing. Well, did you know you could do this, or how about saving this? And did you know you could use this later in this recipe? So
Yep.
I love the sourdough class when you're talking about the extra sourdough, and then we made the flat crackers.
Mhm.
Just but you only learn that in a group environment because
Right.
somebody will bring up something their grandmother taught
Mhm.
them or their mama taught them, and I love the conversation
Absolutely. And I think that's
around the
even
table.
better than delivering the information online. So, yes, if we're able to record these and then get the education out to the public, that's great. But when you're in the class with the
Yeah.
people, just what you said, the community's coming together and they're sharing ideas, things
Yeah.
that I didn't think of because I don't know everything.
Right.
And
Right.
so I love that as well.
Well, with a 125-year-old organization, right? I mean, North Carolina Cooperative Extension with the partnership of NC State University, we have been able to, here we are, a grassroots organization. We're celebrating 8 years. And the church, there are about 20 churches that are behind the scenes here making this engine run. But our thought is don't duplicate things. Just
Mhm.
we want to partner with the people who have already doing a great job. And so you have led us to so many really wonderful people at NC State University. You brought in somebody from Morehead City that taught us how to, fillet a fish.
Yes.
I mean, how cool was that?
It was awesome.
That was a very cool class.
Mhm.
And then you had somebody come in on the food budgeting
Mhm.
thing, but having people come in from Raleigh and so
Specialists.
Yeah, specialist.
Yes.
Yeah. And so this is our North Carolina Cooperative Extension.
Mhm.
So, I mean, that's all a part of, what we pay taxes for
Absolutely.
is to be able to have you all
Mhm.
here, which has been great. Um, I know that you all are very, very involved in the Heritage Festival. I
Mhm.
mean, you all basically are the engine that pulls it all together. And the Heritage Festival has been going on for many, many years. It
Mhm.
was in November and then back to September, and now it's at the Civic Center.
Mhm.
And do you want to share anything at all about the Heritage Festival
In
that
what
is coming up?
I feel like you did a great job.
Okay.
If you want to be a vendor, I
Yeah.
think that their applications are still open in order for you to be a vendor. But if you have any ideas or heritage skills specifically that you want to see or people that you know, please send them our way because that's the whole point
Yeah.
of the Heritage Festival.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I love the 4-H watching Sarah. I mean, Samantha out there with giving the cow the kiss. I mean, that's precious. And then looping tobacco and, all those wonderful, wonderful things. But, and of course there's some food options,
Oh, yes.
out there as well.
Mhm.
But, circling back around, to the teaching kitchen, I want to make sure that you all know how to connect, with Sarah. You want to share the website?
Jones County Cooperative Extension. You can just Google us and we'll
Yep.
show up. We're on Facebook. We are connected to Board of Elections here locally, so you can just walk on down and say hello. Yeah, any questions or if there's any classes that you want to have, please just let myself know or Marianne.
Yep. That's right.
Yes.
That's right. We want to make sure that primarily we have chosen Thursdays as our extension day here at the filling station.
10 to 12.
10 to 12, and we've got Sarah signed up for a great little kids 4-H chopped camp, and that's going to be in association with 4-H.
Yes.
Second week in July, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. No, it's June. Yeah, so many wonderful things happening. And then our dance, art, and music camp, that's going to be the last week in June, the 23rd to the 28th. And Sarah's going to be in the kitchen 2 of those days working with our kiddos. So we've talked about this. You got to start early, right?
Yes.
You got to start the kids early, really appreciating the value of great vegetables, great making things taste wonderful. So they're not dealing with major high blood pressure issues or high triglycerides or cholesterol issues. So we really do appreciate everything that you are doing and investing in the lives of the folks here in Jones County. And we'll look forward to having you back here for another interview soon.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much.
Yeah. Have a great one.